At some point we should get a theme song.
We should. I bet people are waiting for that.
I'm actually sure there's a couple people we know are waiting for us to have a theme song.
I used to write jingles in college. I can do it.
You did, and I still make music from time to time. Like I still.
It's time for Tara Talks.
Hey.
And Ryan listens. It's Tara Talks. Cause she be talking, he be listening. He's all ears. Ears.
That'll work.
He's all ears.
You know what? The cool part is I just recorded all of that, so
whatever.
I'm so serious. That's what we're gonna do. That's gonna be our theme song from now on. I hope y'all like it. In the meantime, welcome back. This is indeed
Tara
TTRL.
Talks. Yeah, Tara Talks, Ryan listens.
So, Tara, talk.
All right. Well, hello. And again, welcome back. We're gonna go ahead and hop into our news and current events. Man, if you don't know, you're under a rock. R.I.P. R.I.P.
Bruh.
to Nipsey Hussle. I mean, honestly, when this news flashed across my phone, I didn't believe it. And then I started thinking, wait, maybe that's not who I'm thinking of. Because ain't no way. Last time that I checked. I mean, that song is
5 chains on my neck.
That song was like my hype song for a hot minute. Like,
that was my theme song for all of 2018.
Theme song, hype song. I'm gonna make it through this song.
Mm-hmm.
Recovery inspiration. Like, I mean, yeah, I seriously didn't believe it.
I was in the middle of a photo shoot, and my client who I was shooting, she brought quite a few of her friends with her to help her out with the shoot, which is, normal. But one of her friends was on Instagram, and she was like, "Oh my God, somebody shot Nipsey Hussle." And I was like, "Stop playing." And she proceeded, like, while my client was changing, I pull out my phone. Sure enough, 3 men shot in front of Nipsey Hussle's store. One of them is dead. One of them was pronounced dead, and they wouldn't say who. The fact that they wouldn't say who,
yeah,
I was like, come on, man. Like, what kind of hater do you have to be to shoot the person, to kill the person in your community that's out here creating jobs, feeding people, like buying property, preventing gentrification, starting programs for high school kids to be a part of STEM projects, and giving people jobs? Like, what? Come on. What kind of hating dudes you gotta be? And I want to say something else, but I'm trying to keep the show clean.
Yeah.
But, like, seriously, like, how miserable do you have to be as a person to go out and just, like, you ain't gotta like everybody. You don't. You could have hated Nipsey Hussle as much as you wanted to.
Sure.
As much as your dark, empty, pointless heart would desire. But you mad. You and your feelings. You could have easily took a nap and got over it. But instead, you take this whole pillar out of the Los Angeles community, out of the hip hop community, out of the business world. Like, this man was out here. You took somebody's father away.
Right. He was doing more than just music. I mean, his music was everything, but he was actually making a difference at such a young age.
That man was 33 years old.
33. And that's what hit home for me. I mean, he was just a few years older than us. Like, that's crazy. And that's honestly, that's what kind of always hits me when I think about Tupac and Biggie. They were in their 20s when they died.
Pac was 24.
And they were so influential and had made such a big impact to be so young. I mean, think about most people at their age are just, either still in school or just finishing school and trying to get on their feet, trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives. And they had already made such a huge difference in people's lives, such a huge impact. And same thing with Nip. It's just like, wow, like so young.
Man, 24, I was still struggling.
Right. Me too. Like, it's ridiculous.
Like, I'm not struggling anymore, but I'm still not where I'm trying to be at 30.
Exactly.
I'm going to be 30 in a little bit. I'm going to be 27 for the 4th time in a little bit. And I'm still not where I'm trying to be. So, like, for Pac and Biggie to have been as young as they were, for Nipsey Hussle Nipsey was on his way to being a real estate mogul.
It's just sad. I mean, and, like a lot of people are thinking about his longtime girlfriend, Lauren London, who we know is an actress. And they have a 2-year-old son together. And it's just it's sad. Like, I know everybody was just thinking about her, thoughts and prayers. But she was kind of silent for a while, but she actually recently spoke up. And I mean, as she would be, just her caption said, "I'm completely lost." I mean, I love my best friend, my sanctuary, my protector, my soul. We're lost without you, babe. I have no words. And I mean, we're all kind of feeling that same sentiment.
All because some weak, like I said, I'm trying to keep the show clean. All because some whack dude just decided to be in his feelings. And, like, if you was real, you would have squared up and fought the man. And then, because I'm sure you would have got your, trying to, so hard to keep the show clean. I'm sure you would have got beat down very badly. And guess what? You wouldn't be in police custody running for your life. Because let's be honest, you're safer with the police than you are in the streets of LA right now. Pretty much the streets of most places. Because there's a lot of people that don't like this dude right now.
Right.
Like, and I guarantee if somebody from the hood would have caught up with him first, nobody would have retaliated.
Well, I just saw something, I don't know, obviously when you see anything on the internet, you don't know how accurate it is, but I just saw something that said Jay-Z created a $15 million trust fund for Nipsey Hussle's kids.
Sound about right.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds believable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jay-Z and Nip was working together on a few things. Diddy and Nip was working on a few things. Man, like, Nip had just recorded a song with John Legend for DJ Khaled and was shooting a video.
It's just sad.
Now it's going to be a sad song. Regardless of whatever they were talking about, regardless of the tempo and the mood of the song, now it's just going to be sad. But the thing is, man, he's got so much. The man was a genius. His legacy and his music is going to live on forever.
He was just on a different level.
Was on a whole different. He was from another planet. Had to be. Like, I can't imagine. In 3 years from now, I can't imagine having accomplished all the things he's accomplished. Like, I can't imagine. I can't fathom that.
Yeah.
But real talk. Sending thoughts and prayers to his whole family, especially Lauren and the kids. It's ridiculous. Shout out to my LB. Shout out to Herschel. My LB is from LA. He's the one who put me on Nipsey back in the day, like 2012, I think. I had heard of him before that. I was okay, yeah, I like this guy. He's not a terrible rapper like a lot of people. I didn't really get into him until I was hanging around Herschel, and he was like, "Yo, you got to hear this new Nipsey Hussle mixtape." I was like, "Okay." I'm saying, like, man, this dude's so underrated. Why is everybody sleeping on this man?
Yeah, and the sad part is this, that's how it usually happens. Good music, people don't really know much about it.
Right.
Or somebody in particular has to tell you, no, for real, check this out. Like,
yeah. Because I would have been like, okay, yeah, Nipsey Hussle, he can rap. I like him. And that's it. I wouldn't have, like, paid that much attention to him had it not been for Herschel. So I'm grateful that he did that way back in the day, and I had time to, like, enjoy his music. And, I'm happy that I was able to, I guess, enjoy it before I had to find out this way. So, I mean, it's not the same vibe when you find out afterwards.
Yeah.
But, like, seriously, and if you one of those people on the internet talking about some, man, y'all wouldn't even listen to Nipsey Hussle, man, shut up. Shut that up.
Better
man.
late than never. Yeah.
Don't nobody want to hear that, first of all. And if you got a problem with it, come find me. Yeah. But the point is, just because you don't hear me talking about Nipsey Hussle, just because I'm not sitting here posting the Nipsey Hussle mixtape on my Instagram, just because let's say the only thing I know about Nipsey is his business ventures. Let's say that's all I do know about him. What you gonna do if I'm still sad?
Right. You can be sad even if it was a stranger.
Right.
Somebody you didn't know.
So basically what you're telling me is I don't have the right to have feelings and emotions
for humanity.
Because you knew him longer than me.
Yeah. And people that I know that haven't heard from him, I'm like, well, check out his music. Like, it's good. Like, right. It's okay if you hadn't heard of him, you can still follow the story, be upset, and listen to his music and learn more about what he was doing in the community. Like, that's fine. It's no shame to being late to the party. Like,
don't be that person, because, like, you sound like the hater that shot him. So don't be that person.
I'm just gonna.
If you mad, just shut up. Just shut up, because don't nobody want to hear your negativity. We out here trying to celebrate, the life of somebody who was inspired an entire generation, was a pillar for change and positivity in a community that absolutely needed it. What's the thing. If Nipsey Hussle was a Crip and the Bloods and the LAPD and the Los Angeles mayor were all mourning, then you know that you gotta be just some terrible kind of person to be mad at him. You just gotta be like the most miserable, like, I can't even think of enough insults to call you if you just gotta be that upset with somebody who was out here giving people jobs, making sure people could feed their families, out here donating his clothing line to people, you know, buying up real estate. He literally bought the shopping center where he used to hustle back in the day, and the shop owner, the store owners were running him off the property. Bought that whole area. Now they're paying him rent, and yet nobody has anything negative to say about him except this one little whack dude that was, I'm gonna get my gun, I'm gonna shoot you. That's what we think of you. So you just better be glad that the cops got to you before the hood did, because I'm pretty sure the hood wasn't finna hold no punches. So yeah. So what's something else I was gonna say about this too? Oh, check out my Instagram, THERY_C.
Yes.
I recorded, I ain't gonna lie, I was like very upset. I was very distraught about this whole thing. I'm actually surprised at how hard this hit me, you know. I'm usually not this upset when a public figure, you know, is dies or gets killed or whatever the case is, but this hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. So I wrote myself a little tribute and recorded it to the last time that I checked beat. It's on my Instagram, THERY_C IGTV. Just click on the little thing and it'll play the whole little 1 minute and 24 seconds. It's that one single line in that second verse that you'll hear it. Just go listen to it. It's that one single line in that second verse that kind of grabbed my soul and wouldn't let it go, which is why it was my theme song all 2018. But yeah, go check out my little tribute. You know, did a little something.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody who, even if you don't know who he was, even if you found a way to appreciate his art, his business savvy, his philanthropy, like, the man was a true king. The man was a genius. The man had a heart of gold.
Yeah, R.I.P. I'm gonna change the subject because it's kind of sad.
It's very sad. I'm getting upset all over again.
Yeah. So in other news, Jordan Peele said
also a genius.
He said he won't cast white males as the lead in his movies. He said, I just don't see myself doing that. And it's funny because you know, I guess a lot of white people got upset by this, like, how are you gonna leave us out? And the thing is, his reason was, it wasn't I hate white people. His reason was, I've heard that story before. I've seen that done before. And that is so true. I mean, like, no shade to Ben Affleck and Tom Cruise, but like, it's time for somebody else to tell a story. Like,
and all the guys named Chris in all the Avenger movies. It's time for something else.
It's time for Lupita.
Yeah.
It's time for
Denai.
It's time for Winston. It's time for, like, so many people
There's so many underrated actors who we, the public, don't get to enjoy, because these directors that we hold on a pedestal are like, oh wow, he's such a great director, but he casts the same 12 people over and over.
Also, I think it's interesting how most black people watch black movies and white movies, black shows and white shows. A lot of white people only watch stuff with white people in it. Like, it's very rare for you to have, it's usually your woke white friend.
Right. Because most of the white friends we have are pretty woke.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
but there are also some white people who I make a reference to Black Panther and they're like, oh, I still haven't seen that yet. I'm like, what? How? It's been out over a year. I saw it 5 times, right, like within the first month it was out. Like, how? I don't understand how. And I mean, not saying everybody got to go see Black Panther, but everybody going to see Avengers, everybody going to see everything else, you know. And it's for the same reason why everybody was so hyped about Wonder Woman. Like, you know, women's stories need to be told. I'm the same way with Crazy Rich Asians. You know, that movie was amazing. You know, Hispanic stories need to be told. There's just more
into the Spider-Verse.
Yes. But yeah, I just think that it's crazy that people want to get so upset about him saying that, and that was not a controversial statement to me. It's the truth. Like, he is a black man, so he should be able to tell his stories and stories that it's the same thing with Tyler Perry. Like him or hate him, Tyler Perry has told stories that we are all familiar with. A lot of us who grew up kind of, especially a Black family that's, in the church and things like that. We, grew up with those types of stories. Now, he may have exaggerated that Madea character, but, literally my great grandmother, we called her Madea. Like, that's just real. And so it was very relatable. He also put, he made jobs for a lot of Black people and just people of color in general. And that's important. Like, I don't understand what the problem was with Jordan Peele saying that. I think that it's one of those situations where people are just going to be mad regardless. So you just got to do what you're going to do and put out what you want to put out and move on from there.
Yeah, it's it's really just time for things to be done differently. It's crazy that in 2019 there's still Black first Oscar winners.
Right. How are there still so many firsts?
That's crazy.
That is so crazy to me. Like, it's
great that it's happening.
It is good, and we got to celebrate it. But I just remember when I was a kid being like, man, all the firsts are going to be taken when I grow up. And it's not.
We still have so much time to do first stuff.
Yeah.
We got the time to do it. We can make it happen.
It's sad. Some good news. So there's a new Chicago mayor.
Oh, speaking of firsts.
Yes. They elected their first Black and openly gay mayor of Chicago.
Black female.
Lori Lightfoot. Yeah, sorry, Black female and openly gay mayor of Chicago. So Lori Lightfoot. And from what I heard in the news, she ran after she was inspired to run after the shooting of Laquan McDonald, and that was kind of her inspiration. And it's crazy because when bad things happen, you think, oh, why did this have to happen? This is terrible, which it is terrible, but it is nice to see something good come out of a bad situation. It is nice to see, even when you think about 45, that kind of spurred a lot of people, a lot of women and a lot of people of color to run for office. And so I'm loving that we're starting to see representation,
Look at the shift in Congress and the Senate.
Exactly. So congrats to Lori Lightfoot. That's inspirational. That's exciting. Some good news.
Oh yeah, definitely. So let's talk about some weird stuff.
Yes, obscure news.
All right. So I have two stories, and they're both about animals, since people seem to like animals.
Okay.
The first one, distracted driver. All right, let me just tell the story first.
Okay.
So Minnesota sheriff officer, I guess, encountered a driver who was having trouble staying in his lane. He pulls him over thinking he's about to be texting and driving, or eating and driving. Turns out he got a 250-pound pig on his lap.
What?
There was also a smaller pig in the back of his truck. So basically, I guess it's still cold in Minnesota right now, which is plausible because it was
Minnesota
super cold in Northwest Arkansas the other day.
Yep.
And then today was wonderful. But anyway, yeah. So this giant 250-pound pig was literally in this man's lap.
What?
His response was that he didn't want the pigs to be cold in the back of the truck, so he had them in the cabin with him.
Where was he taking them?
Apparently he was. I read the whole story and forgot what it said. There was also a video.
It's fine. I'm just curious.
Point is, he was transporting the two pigs. I guess he was moving or returning to a farm or something like that, and decided that he didn't want them to be cold, which doesn't seem logical in terms of the fact that don't pigs normally live outside, and aren't they, covered in a certain layer of
blubber?
Yeah, I was gonna say exoderm of some sort, but
I don't know.
I think pigs are insulated to not be cold.
Who knows?
But I mean, hey, people and the animals.
Blankets.
All right. So yeah, the sheriff ended up letting him off with a warning, of course.
Yeah.
Puts him says you got to put the pig in the passenger seat or in the cabin behind the back seat or whatever. I'm not sure if it's a quad cab truck, but I'm sure he had like enough space in the back seat to put the other pig. Because let's be honest, if he would have like crashed the car because he was having trouble staying in his lane because you had a 250-pound animal,
Right.
this guy might be less than 250 pounds. It's very possible that the guy's only 200 pounds or 160 pounds. It doesn't say how big the person is. It doesn't show his picture. It just shows a picture of the pig. But at the same time, if you got that size of anything on you, you're not going to be able to control your vehicle as well as you should.
Oh my gosh.
So that warning thing was a bit insulting, but whatever. He gets off of the warning and basically just had to put the pigs in the seat. So
and maybe put a seatbelt on him.
Whatever. Yeah.
Oh
anyway, so
that's funny.
Leave it to the Midwest. Sorry, the Midwest. Leave it to the Midwest. You know, I should actually made you guess where that took place.
You should have.
Because my first thought would have been like Alabama or Mississippi.
But you said cold, so then I would have had to. Yeah.
All right. Stop it. They just started adding videos to these now. Don't do that's not going because it's connected to the thing. Anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, so the next story. A skunk somehow got his head stuck in a beer can.
No. And was the skunk drunk? You're drunk as a skunk.
Hey, it gives a new meaning to
drunk as a skunk. Cheers to that skunk.
Right, as you hand me a drink.
For getting wasted.
Let's pull up for the skunk. Gives a whole new meaning to the term skunked beer. That is good. What is that?
I don't know.
Oh, it's tasty. Anyway, she just handed me a cup of something and it tasted really good.
A
skunk
vino.
Somehow got his head stuck in a discarded beer can and is being cared for by veterinarians in Massachusetts. Animal control officers in Billerica, I guess Massachusetts, posted a picture of an unfortunate critter on Twitter. They said it's amazing that his head could even fit and touch a small opening. That was my first question.
Yeah, because I thought he would have cut his little face up.
Right, and apparently maybe he did because, again, it does say he's being treated by veterinarians.
He's being treated for alcoholism.
Right, so here's my thing. Don't skunks spray when they panic or when they feel threatened?
I believe so.
So if you got a thing on your head and you can't get it off, you can't see nothing because you're inside of a can, wouldn't he have been spraying all over the place?
Well, he probably wasn't really panicked because he was drunk. So he was just chilling.
Oh, well, maybe that's the case. I mean, it doesn't say how much of the beer was still in the can, but it might have just been enough. Who knows? Skunks might not have a...
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't know. Have a tolerance. We don't know their tolerance level.
Right. But, yeah, they, I guess, decided to... Well, the plan was at least to sedate him before they removed the can and then monitor the animal for a few days before returning it to the wild.
Wow.
I don't know how you care for a skunk for a few days without the risk of being sprayed.
I mean, but vets are used to dealing with all different types of animals, so I'm sure the vet knew what precautions to take.
I'm assuming that's what I'm assuming they did because that's what apparently they're handling it. So, congrats to you, veterinarians.
Oh my goodness,
you've done a service to this animal, and I respect you because I wouldn't dare.
No, thank you.
Nah. Risk is far too great. So that's gonna do it for the bizarre news today.
Pepe Le Pew looking.
Oh man, I gotta go back and watch those cartoons. You know what? I read recently or heard I think it was on a radio show or something recently that it was, you know what, let's go ahead and I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but since we're on the subject of obscure news, and speaking of skunks and Pepe Le Pew, I once remember reading or hearing about a headline that said millennials are upset and wanting to boycott Pepe Le Pew for sexual harassment.
Interesting.
Because the whole plot of the Pepe Le Pew
cartoons,
he was flirting with a cat that always managed to get paint or something on her back so that she looked more like a skunk than a cat. The cat was like, the female cat was like trying to escape him. The cat couldn't talk. The skunk could. So Pepe Le Pew could talk. The cat, however, could not talk. So it was just him making passes at this cat who he thought was a skunk. and she was always trying to escape, trying to get away, and he just kept, trying to woo her.
Well, I think the thing was Pepe Le Pew was supposedly French, and the assumption is French people are like super romantic, and so he was just trying to shoot his shot. And the thing is, what we have to always remember is we can't apply what's going on in society today necessarily to
What was going on with an animated skunk 40 years ago?
exactly. That is a cartoon, and they're animals, so animals do what animals do.
Right, because if you think about it, I don't think animals get verbal yeses.
They can't.
Because they can't verbally say yes. So animals have an entirely different culture.
Yeah. Can I just say on a different subject, but on that same topic?
Sure.
Watching Pepe Le Pew made me terrified of skunks. It made me think I was going to be like exposed to way more skunks in my life than I have. And so I was always afraid of getting sprayed by a skunk. And I have never seen a skunk outside of my car. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're driving and you're like, oh, there's a skunk on the side of the road, but that's still rare. Meanwhile, we have a friend who has had 4 or 5, maybe I think 6 encounters with skunks, like all different stories.
I've had 4 myself.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
That's crazy. So I guess skunks are more common for some people, but yeah.
All right, so I didn't really encounter skunks until I got in college, and I went to Prairie View, right outside of Houston, Texas. So about 20, 30 minutes northwest of Houston, Texas. So again, southern Texas, you got all kind of animals, and then Prairie View is out in the country. So we literally had all kinds of animals running around campus. We had spiders the size of your hand, just hanging out of trees. Like when I say your hand, I mean my hand, and I have a pretty large hand. Like just imagine looking up in the tree and seeing this.
Okay, move on. Enough with
Then
the
there was,
spiders. I don't like spiders.
You don't. It's funny. All kinds of snakes, all kinds of deer, possum, armadillos, of course. But there was always skunks like near campus, like because again we're out in the country, So.
But did you get sprayed?
I did not.
Okay.
There was somebody who did get sprayed. I think it was my freshman or sophomore year. He was in a different building than me, so I didn't know. I don't even remember what they did. But I knew like 2 of the LCCs who I was cool with. Like later on, once I got older, I think I was a junior or a senior, and I was like, bro, what's that giant can of tomato sauce sitting right there by the door for? I'm like, shouldn't it be in the kitchen? He's like, oh nah, that's for somebody got skunked last year, so now we all got to make sure we got tomato sauce. I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. So apparently somebody actually did get skunked on campus. I don't remember when it was, but it has happened. I remember one time in the summer, I was working a summer camp, and we all stayed on campus in the freshman housing during the summer. So I'm walking back from my car. I think I went to go get something to eat or something like that. I was at somebody else's house, headed back to my dorm. Right, I'm walking down the sidewalk, turn right in front of the building, and next thing I know, I see something run across the sidewalk. My first thought was, okay, maybe it's that random cat that keeps popping up. By the time I realized it was a skunk, I literally dropped my keys and whatever else was in my hand and ran for my life. I did not have the time to be trying to figure out how to remove skunk smell. I was tired, right? I was exhausted because it was summertime. I was in summer school and working the program and, working, doing my business and all that kind of stuff. So that was a long day. I don't think I've ever ran that fast in my life. Like, I'm a former high school athlete. And I don't think I have ever run that fast in my entire life.
Right, because you wouldn't be able to get rid of that stench.
No, not right away at least. So, yeah. I didn't get back in my room for like another 20 minutes. I waited and waited and waited. My keys sat there on the sidewalk. Luckily it was late at night and nobody was just walking by to just grab my keys and, take off. But still, it was like I waited outside for like another 20 minutes and was super paranoid trying to make sure none of the other skunks was going to get me either. But yeah, that was my close encounter, and because you never know where the rest of them are.
Like it's just a gang of skunks waiting to get you.
There were times where there was a gang of skunks. Yeah, I remember seeing a bunch of them one time.
Goodness gracious.
But yeah.
Well, thank you. That wraps up our obscure, random, weird, off the wall.
Yeah, because that kind of spiraled.
News.
You know what? Next time I'm just gonna let it spiral like that. I'm gonna pick one story, and then we'll just let it spiral.
Okay.
Because we talked about a skunk and a beer can, then we talked about paper pew, and then we talked about sexual harassment, then we talked about generational changes, then we talked about Prairie View. Because that's where I encountered all my skunks. So
you and your skunks.
Yeah.
So now we're going to hop into the listener letters. And we just want to say thanks again for everyone who sends us letters. You can just shoot us an email at askttr@gmail.com. ASKTTRL@gmail.com. Stop it.
Why would you put it on me?
Like, okay, I didn't throw it on you.
You did. You did. So it was a piece of hair. You know how just like randomly a piece of hair just be like right there somewhere, not in your head. So she grabs it and puts it on my leg.
Right? I did not. No, I did not.
And then she got mad when I put it back, and I gave it back to her. And she got mad.
You can email us. At ask.
We definitely appreciate your questions.
TTRL@gmail.com. You can ask us anything you want to know about us, or if you have questions about what's going on in your life, we would love to help you as much as we can.
Real quick, did we ever hear back from that Keenan character?
We have not yet.
Okay, Keenan, if you're listening again, we want to know what happened. We are concerned.
Yeah, we want to follow up.
We want to know if you haven't acted on anything yet. Take your time, but still let us know when you do.
Yeah,
because I want to know how your situation played out. Because remember I said somebody did something very similar at one point. Mine ended weirdly, but all was well because it ended well. But I want to know what happens with you. Just let us know.
Yep. So yeah, we'll definitely be open to follow-ups as well. Speaking of follow-ups, I just was thinking about the throwback wedding traditions, which was a question from I think last week, and I thought of some more.
Okay,
so cool. You remember when everybody used to have disposable cameras on the table and you would have your guests be the photographers?
Oh wow. You had to turn all the cameras in.
Yes. And so there's an episode, Friends is one of my favorite TV shows. So
side note, I'm actually starting to like Friends now.
Thank you.
At first it was just on. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I don't dislike it. I don't hate it. I never watched it as a kid, intentionally at least. Now I'm kind of starting to get into it.
Yeah, my sister got me hooked on it when we were younger, so it's one of my favorite shows. But so I'm always thinking about the episode where Monica and Chandler got married, and they were like lost the bag of cameras, and it's like, now we won't have any memories from our wedding day. I'm like, y'all didn't hire a photographer? Like, I could see if you're like, oh, we want to get some candids, so you give people disposable cameras, but then also hire a professional photographer. But the fact that a lot of people legit just put disposable cameras on every table and let the guests be the photographers, and I just think that is so not okay. Like, as someone who
I didn't know where that was going.
As someone who loves pictures and like values pictures, some people don't really care, but my dad was a photographer, I'm a photographer, my fiance is a photographer. The camera, the pictures, the memories, like all of that is the most important part of the wedding, because honestly, after you eat the cake and dance and say I do, like that's all that's left really in terms of like your memories. So I definitely think we need to leave the disposable cameras in the past. I think some people are trying to bring it back ironically, which is I guess cute, but no, I like professional photos, and we will have professional photos.
If you must, at least get a Polaroid so you can hand me the image. Hand me the printed image like immediately, so I don't have to wait for you to develop it.
Oh my gosh, and then you would never develop them.
Right, because let's be honest.
I have a bag of disposable cameras in my closet that are from the early 2000s.
Hey, you know what we should do one day for fun in the summer, like on vacation or something?
What?
I should get the ones from my mama house. Uh-huh. You should get yours from a closet, and then we should just go develop all of them.
Right, and who knows what's on those? Who knows if they'll even come out at this point?
Man, that's going to make some hilarious Throwback Thursdays.
Yes. So I think we should leave that in the past. Another one that I thought about was the cake toppers. Remember that when people would have actual people as the cake toppers? So like you would have a black couple or a white couple. Yeah, like they would be actually
little Barbie dolls.
Basically like little Barbie images of you. And so I've seen, again, a modern take on that where it's like, you can make them now look a little bit more like you. And I always thought that would be cute, but I just also think it's kind of corny. Like, I do not want a cake topper. I want something modern and simple. And I mean, I don't even like icing. I'm probably going to get a naked cake. Like, I I'm not messing with the cake toppers. I think it would be cute if we had like a theme, like you've seen some people do like a superhero theme. Then if we had, I've seen ones with like the Superman for the guy, or if you had like a super obvious occupation like a doctor or something, like okay, I could see that, but even still, I don't like the cake toppers. I say we leave that in the past. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to agree. I personally like the cakes that are just shaped like fancy, exquisite cakes.
Yeah.
I don't need there to be words on top. Because what are we gonna do? We're gonna cut the cake, and then the words aren't gonna. It won't be a sentence anymore.
Yeah.
It won't be a phrase anymore. There won't be complete letters anymore. So yeah, I don't really need to have people on top of our cake.
I honestly, I'm fine with leaving that in the past. One that I do want to bring back, and I just want to say to our parents or any of our family members who love us, if you're listening, remember parents used to pay for everything. I want to bring that back.
Yeah.
I want to bring that back. Like, I know we're older. Like, back in the day, people used to literally go straight from high school or college, like straight from their parents' house to their husband's or wife's house. Like, they would just get married right away. And versus nowadays, people kind of go out, live on their own, get an apartment, maybe move in together. They live life for several years before they get married. And so then at that point, parents are like, you grown, I'm done with you. You got it.
That's hilarious.
And I'm not saying our parents won't help out. I'm sure they will. But I would love it if someone would just be like, actually, we didn't tell you because we didn't want you to be spoiled, but we've been saving up for this your whole life and it's all covered.
That would be dope. And I kind of feel like my mama might be hiding something. Because you remember the time we were on the phone, I had her on speaker?
Yeah.
And we were just in there talking, and then she was like, oh my God, hurry up and get married. And I was like, okay, fine. We'll get married. And that's always been the plan anyway. But yeah, sure. Because you asked us to, Mom, we're going to get married. And yeah, and she basically agreed to pay for it. And then moved to Northwest Arkansas after we get married. So, Tara and I both remember that, Mom.
We do, and we're holding you to it.
And you have admitted that you said it in front of other people. You said it in front of Derek. You said it in front of Vonda. And I think you said it in front of Ashley, too. So we got witnesses.
Yeah. So I say we bring back the tradition of parents paying for everything. I'm for that. So that was my throwback wedding tradition. I just want to add that on from last week. I thought of some more, and who knows? I might think of some more next week.
My dad's paying for our honeymoon, so
hey, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And so our next, or I guess the first actual one for this week, someone asked what are our top 5 throwback songs from high school, and this is from Sonic.
What up, Sonic?
Thank you for the question, Sonic.
Oh, snap. I legit got a Sonic doll stuffed
animal. Oh, that's so funny. That's
Sonic
hilarious.
was one of my favorite games as a child. Like probably the first video game I ever played was Sonic, and I got a Sonic stuffed animal that I won at a giant arcade thing or whatever, and I had like enough tickets to get a Sonic. Anyway, shout out to you, Sonic.
All right, so top 5 throwback songs from high school. Okay, so number 1 has got to be Hot in Her. I don't know if that's number 1, but that's the first one on my mind. What's another one? It's hard for me to differentiate high school from middle school sometimes because some music like blends and I'm like, wait, what year was that? What year did that come out?
You know what's hilarious? I got a playlist that I'm going to read when you're done. I'm trying to remember.
Man.
I legit have a playlist on Apple Music called High School and Awkward Feelings.
That's funny. See, I was looking at my early 2000s playlist, but that's the blur between middle and high school because that could be either or. Okay, so
I think middle school is close enough to high school.
Her
yeah,
is 1. Man, 5 seems like a lot now.
Man, I got this playlist got 30 songs in it. So
name one of yours.
All right, so one of mine, Mary J. Blige, great artist. Still making very good quality music, but I don't think she is ever going to top Be Without You.
Man.
I think that was her pinnacle.
That was a good song.
And I'm not saying that she
forgot
can't
that
make,
was when we were in high school.
I'm not saying that she still can't make good music, but that was her best song. There will not be a song better than that from her. And she can still make some absolutely great songs, but nothing's gonna top that one.
Man,
That was, I mean, bro. It, I just can't. It's like this playlist is like low key bringing back
Honestly,
memories.
that song, I was like, man, I feel like I haven't been through enough to like this as hard as I
And
should
then see my
at that
dumb tale
age.
when I was a kid. You couldn't tell me I hadn't lived a whole life and had all types of relationship experience and had my heart broken 11 times. And
Yeah.
yeah, you couldn't tell me my feelings weren't legit.
Okay. I know people be hating on MC, but I'm gonna say "We Belong Together," Mariah Carey.
That's
That
probably her pinnacle
that song, yeah.
as well. Yeah.
That one, what was that? Emancipation Mimi. That was a good album.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got two.
I think I need to add that to this playlist. Oh wait, no, there it is. Oh no, it is there. Okay, cool. But while we talking about MC, we belong together. No, don't forget about us.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, don't forget about us. So that's my number 2.
I mean, you gotta say Confessions.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one. Dang, what else?
My Sacrifice by Creed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that I still be jamming the hell out of that song in my car as an adult.
I'm gonna say this is a little odd, but
I just said Creed, so go for it.
I feel like I don't want to like I don't want to waste my okay. I'm gonna say
I'm just gonna be honest. I'm giving you more than 5, regardless. So
okay.
carry on.
I'm gonna say. Wait, I lost it. Oh, Cater to You, Destiny's Child. And that's another one where I was like, I'm probably too young to be like really loving this song because I didn't have nobody to cater to. But I loved that song. Like legit loved that song.
You could have catered to me if you literally could have catered to me.
No, I could not have.
If you had just Mario Let Me Love You. If you had just Let Me Love You by Mario.
Is that your next song?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, are you trying to do
something?
To no, I couldn't have because like real talk, even if we had been together, Mariah Carey, if we had been together back then, we still would have been too young for me to be catering to you. Like,
Theoretically, woman, dang.
Look, you know I'm old school.
I mean, so am I.
Oh, I think I got my number 5.
Go for it. I lost count, so carry on.
Run It, Chris Brown.
Hey.
If you're man on the floor,
not like that.
Let me know. That song was it.
Yo, that was my jam.
It was. We had some good quality music back in the day.
Yeah. I'm gonna go a little bit left field here.
Go ahead, and then I got one for you.
Angel by Amanda Perez.
Oh, I did not like that song.
What?
Everybody we went to school with was always singing it, and I was just like annoyed with it. They just overplayed it. I mean, now I can appreciate it, but at the time I was just like, because that was every girl we went to school with's favorite song,
especially the hood girls.
Yeah, I was trying not to say that.
Oh nah, trust me, they know it. Like that's the reason I knew the song was because of the hood girls I hung around. They're like, you ain't never heard this song? Like, what song? I don't know what you're talking about. And sure enough, somebody burns me a CD the next day. Why was it on repeat for like 2 weeks straight? Like next thing you know, I'm playing the song on the piano, singing it and playing it at the same time. Like, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? I just taught you that song. Like, yeah, that's. Like, I was in Guitar Center playing that song the other day.
So
on one of them keyboards that they got out.
Oh my gosh. So also Gold Digger.
Hey.
Jamie Foxx and Kanye, like old Kanye.
Old Kanye
was amazing.
I missed the old
and
Kanye.
I loved that Jamie Foxx was singing again because Jamie Foxx had Peep This, which was an amazing album from when I was a kid. My mom
1994, right?
Yeah, I think so. 94, 96, something like that. My mom was a huge Jamie Foxx fan. And a lot of people that we were in school with at the time didn't realize he could sing and thought he was just a comedian. And so when he put that out, I was like, thank you. Let people know who you really are. So I was a fan of that.
The epitome of was this high school? I'm going to go ahead and say this was high school. Differences by Genuine.
Okay. Yeah.
That was like one of the biggest hits of our generation, especially back then.
Ooh.
What?
You know another one?
What?
Umbrella. Rihanna and Jay-Z. That was like my theme song senior year.
Okay, senior year.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember exactly when that came out because all I remember is playing that in band at PV.
Yeah, it was a crossover. It was still hot when we were in high school freshman year, but it was definitely senior year. It was out.
I like the remix of it with Chris Brown in it.
Okay.
Like Chris Brown like added a whole nother dimension to that song. And of course this was all before their little situation, but
can we talk about Akon Smack That?
No, we cannot. I hated
All on the floor.
Song.
Oh,
I love Akon, but I hated that one particular song.
What about Nobody Want to See Us Together?
That was my jam.
That was a good song. I just like Akon.
Oh, hold on. What was that Ply song? Even though I'm not your man, you're not my girl, I'ma call you my shawty.
Oh, I used to love that song. Was that high school?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember being in high school. I logged into MySpace one day after school, and this girl who I thought I was talking to changed her MySpace page name to that line, and I was like, hold on, what's going on? But then I realized like an hour later that it was a song. I was like, oh,
okay. Can we talk about Walk It Out?
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you what. When I was like, I'm saying when I still kind of am recovering from ankle surgery, but like the first couple times I started trying to go back to the gym, obviously I had to do a bunch of modifications. And so I was going to this, I can't remember if it was Zumba or hip hop fusion. I want to say it was Zumba class. And like I basically would walk in and limp out. Like it was a struggle. I still do. It was a struggle for me but really the first few times it was a struggle for me to make it through that whole hour. And we got to like probably about 45 minutes into the class, and I was like struggling. I was about to walk out and just go home. When I tell you Walk It Out came on, and suddenly my ankle was healed, y'all. It felt better. I just had to get it. I had to get it one time for high school, Tara. Like certain songs bring you back to life, and that's one of them.
Yeah. You will notice the difference. I was finna make another pun like segue, but I'm gonna skip it because it was a different song from that band. But anyway, Sierra, torn between Promise and I.
Yeah, honestly, Sierra was so hot. Like when we were in high school, all the way from 1-2 Step to Oh.
Round here, riding slow.
Yes, but Promise was like, oh, I'm gonna go to this party and slow dance with so and so.
That was one of them. Turn the lights off.
It was.
Put it on repeat in the background with the volume low, and be on the phone all night, caking type songs.
And then be like, ooh.
Right. I know you said top 5, but I got so many.
I know it's hard to do. Now we're just going down memory lane.
Riding by Chameleon.
Okay.
That's when he went mainstream, and it was just like, man.
Okay, I know.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, man, it's like the song's about to be a big hit. That was like the first song to go platinum as a ringtone as well. So, shout out to Chameleon, who's also a rapper turned businessman / philanthropist / investor / making a huge impact on the community. Y'all leave Chameleon alone.
So I'm just gonna say, and you can agree or disagree, but I'm just gonna say, Alicia Keys. I thought she was gonna be a one-hit wonder. What was her first song? Fallen. Thank you. Okay, so with Fallen, then that sophomore album was legit.
Oh yeah,
that sophomore album was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can't remember what her third album was called, but that's the one. I think that's the one with No One, right?
I think so. Yeah.
No One was good. Like, and then now, Try to Sleep with a Broken Heart was amazing. That album was good, but I don't really care for a lot of her recent stuff.
Okay, so I thought it was just me.
I still love her just off of Fallen. Like songs in A minor, she got my heart for life. But I'm just not a huge fan of any of her recent stuff. But No One, I used to sing the mess out of that. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the name of the third album was because now I want to know.
I know, because it's the one with like the little school days parody.
Oh yeah, the Teenage Love Affair.
Yeah, Teenage Love Affair. Thank you. I think that's the same album with No One.
I thought that was the next one. Okay, well, no, you're right. Because
I think the fourth one was like... So you got Songs in A minor. Just gonna look it up. Diary of Alicia Keys. As I Am is the one that I'm talking about. That was when we were in high school.
The Diary of Alicia Keys. My favorite Alicia Keys song is Think of Me as a Pages in Your Diary.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that's my
I
top
won't
favorite.
tell.
That and then Unforgettable. Well, not Unforgettable, but Unthinkable.
Oh, Unthinkable? Unthinkable is a good song. That's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Element of Freedom is the one I was thinking of that came out when we were in college. And that one was good. Like, I can sing that whole album on a road trip.
Damn, so that was 4.
Try Sleeping with a
Okay.
Broken Heart. Yeah. So that was her fourth one. The rest are
Speaking of which, I got a question. How come in the music industry their second album is often referred to as their sophomore effort or their sophomore album, sophomore project, but why they don't say junior and senior when they say third and fourth?
these are great questions.
Because they even got the double XL freshman cipher, and then you get a sophomore album, but why is it not a junior level and senior level album and a grad school album?
These are great questions. So
Somebody's got an answer for that. Tweet us, DM.
So I'm gonna wrap up these throwback songs from high school, unless
Right, cool.
you have any others to add.
We can probably do this again next week too,
Okay.
because I can do this all day.
I mean, really, we both love music, so if you have more music questions, keep them coming. All right, and let's just hop right into our last question of the week. And this is from Georgia. And Georgia said, what are some cool family traditions? And so it kind of left it wide open. I'm not sure if Georgia meant family traditions that we have or family traditions we want to start. So I'm going to say let's do both. You cool with that?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Because
right.
you know what? I'm actually going to talk about ones that I remember that we used to do and don't anymore.
Cool.
So yeah, we'll cover all 3.
So, one family tradition, like honestly, my favorite family tradition, from my family of origin is that we dress alike all the time. And it's corny, but I love it. And it's so funny because when I was in high school, it used to get on my nerves because I worked at Old Navy. And so I would buy a cute top or like an outfit that I liked. And I thought I was really like doing something with my own little paycheck. And then my mom would be like, that's cute. Buy me one. See, that's the type of stuff I like. Why you don't buy me stuff like that? And then my sister would come home and be like, oh, I like that. Give me one of my size. So then I'm like, why we all got the same shirt on? But then like now that I'm older, I'm like, we have these cool memories of us just dressing alike, or even if we didn't dress exactly alike, we would like coordinate. And so we would always get dressed up on holidays. And you know how Thanksgiving and Christmas is, especially Thanksgiving, you get dressed up to go sit in the living room. Like, I mean, but I love it. I love it. Because, I mean, I remember even being a kid and picking out my cute little outfit and, doing my hair and everything and making sure I was cute. For the holidays. And so I really do love that. Even to this day, like my mom will buy us it'll be like November and she'll be like, here's your 4th of July shirt. I'm like, Mom, I wasn't home for 4th of July. We didn't have time to match, but thank you. I'll take it. So I think it's adorable. That's something I want to continue with our family. And I mean, I would say we do it now. Like
we
whenever,
still do it now.
yeah.
I made Christmas shirts for both sides of our family. That was pretty dope.
So I love that. What's the family tradition you like?
So as a kid, I remember being at the park on what seemed like a regular basis. Granted, I was like 3 or 4, so I might not be remembering this correctly, but it seems like my family had a recreational volleyball team. I vaguely remember like Val and Vonda and maybe Brandon and Bree. Well, not Bree, because Bree was only a little bit older than me. I remember playing volleyball in the park with a whole team of our family playing against somebody else's family. And I vaguely remember seeing pictures of it as I got a little bit older. And I was like, why don't we do this anymore? Well, of course, people getting old and don't want to hurt themselves anymore. But, that used to be a cool thing. But, of course, I caught the tail end of that apparently as a kid. So, one, it's a physical activity, which is always good for your body. And then you get to bond with family members and, have fun playing a game and compete against another family. So, I want to go back to that. Or, do something similar. And I think that was pretty cool.
Love that. What's a family tradition you want to start for our family?
Ooh. You go first.
Okay, so one that I want to do is international travel.
Oh, heck yeah.
So when I was growing up, I remember like a couple of road trips, but it was mostly like family reunions. Like we're going to St. Louis for this family reunion, or we're going to Orange, Texas for this family reunion. And I think like a couple times we went to like a cabin or whatever, and but that was when I was really young, like barely remember it. Fishing and all that kind of stuff. But I want to expose my kids to international travel. I really want us to still like take trips, just you and I. But I think every now and then it would be cool to just be like, hey kids, we're actually, yes, we're going to Disney, but we're going to Disney in Tokyo. Like, or, just randomly be like, hey, we want to take y'all to Spain. Like I want them to have those memories. I want them to be able to, or even like domestic travel. I want them to see stuff outside of like their state that they grow up in and the like 4 or 5 surrounding states. I want them to see stuff that you're reading about in the textbooks and really be able to like visualize it. So that's one of my goals, is for us to really like travel as a family, and to expose them to like culture and unique things.
And you know what? That's honestly what I was thinking, but I had a feeling you were going to say that. So I absolutely 100% agree with that. I don't think you should have to wait till you're in college to, do international travel, or I don't think you should like just not try. I would absolutely love for our kids to have that opportunity at a young age to kind of, experience the world, because a lot of times living in America, you just get this world view that the world outside of America is pointless and everybody else is in poverty and nobody else has anything cool to do or say or talk about. And I don't want our kids to be a part of that.
Yeah, because it's just not true.
It's not true at all.
And a lot of people feel like, oh, they're not going to remember it, or it's not really worth spending that money. Yes, it is, because the ones who are too young to remember it, you're still making an impact on them. And the ones who you think they don't care, or you think, oh, it's not worth taking them, that's going to shape who they are. And so, I hope that we're able to do that when we have kids. That's like one of my main traditions that I want to have. But I think another one, this is not one tradition, it's just like, I guess, a bunch of them. But my niece and I started a bunch of family traditions for Christmas.
Yeah, you did.
And it all started with me just being extra, and then her every year being like, it's a tradition, we have to. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so like we do the corniest stuff, like, have baked cookies and milk or hot chocolate. And it started with cookies for Santa, and then it just became cookies for us. We also make a gingerbread house every year. It's always an epic fail.
So you try to make a gingerbread
house. Yeah,
but
that's part of the tradition. We try,
right,
and we get better every year.
And y'all be inviting me to do it. I'm like, no, I don't want to impede on your tradition. It's your thing. Somewhere between, I already know I'm not going to help make it any better. Right. But I will absolutely sit next to y'all while y'all try. Yeah,
we make puzzles. We watch Christmas movies. We do all kinds of like corny traditional stuff, and I really want that for my kids, to have those kind of memories.
Our kids are gonna be such nerds, just like we are.
I'm fine with that.
One family tradition that I remember doing as a kid is I don't know if it was every Sunday, maybe one Sunday of the month. We would all just meet up at somebody's house, and one of the matriarchal figures of the family, and bring food. And she would cook, somebody would cook, bring food. All the uncles outside in the yard playing dominoes with the beer cans and the chicken wing bones outside. And then me and my cousins running around. Somebody yelling at us, telling us to stop running, stop hitting each other, stop doing whatever. Then you go inside and you can't figure out if you want to be inside or outside. So the parents are yelling at you like, you finna be heating up the whole neighborhood or air conditioning the whole neighborhood. Just that whole vibe. It's just, it seemed like it was a tradition. Maybe it wasn't, but kind of like that Big Crit song where he was talking about, that soul food song where he just talked about we don't really do that anymore.
Yeah. But we should.
We absolutely should.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of times people think about, it's kind of like what we were talking about just now with traveling. We want to give our kids, expose them to stuff that we didn't have, but also we want to expose them to what we had too, because we had a really good childhood in terms of, stuff like that. So
right.
Can't forget that. So thanks again for the questions. If you have any other questions for us, we would love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email at askttrl@gmail.com. It's askttrl@gmail.com. And thank you for the emails. So as we always do, we're gonna just wrap it up with our love life advice for the week. Just a quick tip for you all in general. And mine is support each other in the hard times. And the weird thing is, I think I've said this before, but when you think about, like, we're not married yet, but obviously, we're headed down that path. And so when you think about for better or for worse, I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of thinking like, good day, bad day. When you think about in sickness and health, I'm thinking like common cold, stomach bug. You don't think about major surgery. You don't think about the death of a loved one. You don't think about losing a job. You don't think about depression, anxiety. You don't think about real life issues. You don't think about the serious things that can come your way. And you kind of take stuff lightly when you're in that honeymoon phase, all lovey-dovey, like you could do no wrong. You're so perfect. Your poop don't stink. And that is...
Those don't work.
It's cute at first, but if you don't really learn how to be there for each other in the bad times, how to support each other in the difficult times, if you're not able to be that person they can lean on and vice versa, then you just don't really have a solid foundation. And so whatever it is, it's hard. It is hard supporting someone in a dark time. Like if your partner is going through depression, then you feel like, why are we together if I can't pull you out of this? You feel like you can't help. If your partner is grieving the loss of a loved one, then you really feel like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to help you. Do I give you your space or do I, swoop in? If you're dealing with any situation, job issues, like whatever the case is, it can be difficult, but you've got to figure out the best way to support your partner in that situation. And that's what's going to really take your relationship to the next level.
On that note, you actually took the quick tip that I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do want to say in front of the world who's listening, thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate the fact that you and I both do support each other in these hard times.
We do.
Like I said, I'm still dramatically shocked at how hard this Nipsey Hussle situation has affected me. Like, normally stuff doesn't affect me at all, but this hit me hard. And, I found myself like, reading about it and talking about it and playing the music over and over and over and sending you a bunch of Instagram posts about all the cool stuff he did and all the smart business decisions he was making and all of this kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm probably she finna be mad if I don't let me just stop. Let me just pick the best ones and send her those, because we send each other things back and forth on Instagram all the time. That's almost 50% of our communication is look at this post, look at this story, look at this article, look at this link. And I was just like, let me stop. Let me make sure I'm not blowing her phone up with Nipsey Hussle posts. And I just straight up said, I was like, hey, babe, sorry, but I'm probably gonna be talking about this Nipsey Hussle situation for the next 2 weeks. And she was like, no, absolutely, let it out. Don't hold back. And I was like,
I was like, just 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I mean, I still think about, Prince and Whitney and some of the legends we lost. Like, right. I mean, anytime that's perfectly normal for a celebrity that you admire or respect or appreciate for that to impact you. But yeah, I mean, I really love that we're able to support each other through the difficult times too. I think that's kind of, I can't remember the exact quote, but basically there's a quote I came across the other day that basically said the dark times are what allow you to appreciate the good times.
Sundays wouldn't be so special if it wasn't for rain.
Something like that.
Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain.
Uh-oh, preach.
That's 50. But...
Okay. I thought that was like a hymnal.
I mean, it's a street hymnal.
So, yeah, I mean, but that's true. So, we have great times in our relationship, but we also have difficult times. And so, and that's kind of what makes us stronger, is when we can come through those difficult times together. So that's my advice, is just to find a way to support each other, even in the hard times.
Yeah. And like I said, I absolutely appreciate the woman I'm sitting next to right now. because, like I said, I cannot shut up about Nip right now. So, and I appreciate that she lets me talk her ear off and blow up her inbox with all these posts about Nipsey Hussle and all of these pictures and stuff like that. So, yeah, if if you're struggling with something like that and your partner is there for you, make sure you let them know that you appreciate them.
Absolutely. So with that, we just want to thank you again for always listening, for tuning in every week, or even playing catch up. If you're behind on podcasts like I am right now, I got a lot of good ones out there that I love that I'm checking out. But yeah, just continue to follow us. We are on Twitter and Instagram at This Is TTRL. So make sure you follow us. Make sure you share, repost, tell a friend. Help us get the word out there.
Yeah, tell your friends, repost our pictures on Instagram, the artwork, whatever. Tell your friends to send us a question and then listen to the show, because we
Absolutely.
will read it out loud. I promise you.
Absolutely. So, I guess that wraps up this week.
I'm gonna say that wraps it up for this week. Everybody keep Nipsey Hussle's family
Absolutely.
and friends in your thoughts and prayers, especially Lauren London and the kids. And do not be that guy on social media talking about, y'all wasn't listening to Nipsey Hussle last week. Don't do it. If you don't have anything positive to say or encouraging or reassuring to say, move on. Don't waste your own energy trying to bring down somebody else's mood. Just stop. All right.
Yes. And you can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, and Spotify. So definitely check it out. And just have a fantastic week. Do something positive in the world.
Yeah. Take a page out of Nipsey's book and go inspire somebody, go help somebody, be a positive change one way or another. With that said, we will see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.